Good morning students. Today I am going to explain you a deadlock topic in operating system. Let me explain this deadlock topic with an example. Consider there are two trains which are coming towards each other on the same track. There is only one track and both the trains cannot move. And we can say that this situation to be in deadlock. Similarly, coming to a multi-programming environment, every process they will be competing for a resource. So what do you mean by a resource over here? Resource it may be scanner, or it can be a printer, or it can be a cache memory or memory cycle, whatever it may be. So all the process will be competing to get that resources. So what is a deadlock in multi-programming environment is, so we consider that there are two process. One is a process P1 and another one is process P2. Okay, so I'll draw this resources as R1 in a rectangle form, R2. Okay, consider that process P1 is holding the resource R1. So the arrow mark goes from resource 1 to process P1. That means process 1 is holding the resource 1 and process 2 is holding the resource 2. So I'll draw this arrow mark like this. Now process P1 already it holds resource R1 but also requires some additional resources to complete its execution. So it is waiting to get the resource R2. So we will draw an arrow mark from process 1 to R2. So it is process 1 is waiting for the resource R2. But this resource R2 is held by the process P2. Okay, so but now the process P2 also requires R1 to complete its execution. Then we can say this condition to be in deadlock. So the process P1 and P2 cannot complete its execution. Either process 1 finishes its release this resource 1 and process 2 release this resource R2. So this condition is called as a deadlock. So coming to the definition of a deadlock, a set of processes like P1 and P2 are said to be in deadlock when if process P1 is holding a resource 1 and P2 is holding a resource R2 and waiting for additional resources like R2 and R1 which are acquired by another process. So this condition is called a deadlock. I'll repeat, set of process is said to be in deadlock when if every process is holding some resources and is waiting for additional resources which are acquired by another process is called a deadlock. Okay. Okay, so what is a deadlock? It is a set of process or said to be in deadlock when if every process is holding some resources and it is waiting for additional resources which are acquired by other process. So now we will see under normal mode of operation, process will follow following sequence. Every process has to follow the sequence. One is request, second is use and third is release. What is request? So if each process will request for a resource. If the resource is available, it can use the resource. Okay, so the next is if it finishes using its resources, it will release the resource. So this is an order in which all the process has to be executed. Okay, suppose for example, if the resources is not available, then the process has to go into a waiting stage until it acquires a resource. Once it gets a resource, it will use the resource. The next is it has to release the resource. So we can say this is the sequence of operation that process has to follow. Next we will see the topic deadlock characterization. So we can describe the deadlock with the help of these four conditions and also resource allocation graph. So we can say that these four conditions is necessary to make the deadlock to occur. So what are the four conditions? The first is mutual exclusion, second is hold and wait, and third is no preemption, fourth is circular wait. So we can say that if a deadlock has to occur in a system, all these four conditions should occur simultaneously, then we can say that deadlock may occur in the system. We cannot give 100% guarantee or assurance that deadlock will occur if all these four conditions occur simultaneously. So when all these four conditions occur simultaneously in a system, then we can say that deadlock may occur or it has a chance to get the deadlock. So we will see the conditions one by one. Coming to the first condition, mutual exclusion. So if we eliminate mutual exclusion, then we can also eliminate deadlock in the system. So what do you mean by eliminating mutual exclusion? So always all the resources are in non-shareable mode. So what is non-shareable mode? So if a resource is used by a resource, for example, you take a printer. Printer can be used by only one process at a time. That is called non-shareable mode. It is not shared by any other process. So that is called as mutual exclusion. So if you are going to make this printer to be used by two or more process P1 and P2, or they are going to share this printer at the same time, then this printer will produce a combined result of P1 and P2, which will lead to a wrong result. So this shareable mode is not possible practically. So when you are going to eliminate this mutual exclusion in the system, then we can say that we can also make deadlock not to occur in the system. But this is not possible. Always all the resources are in non-shareable mode. If a process holds this resource, it has to complete its resource, then only it can give it to the next process. So if you are going to eliminate this mutual exclusion, we can also avoid deadlock. So this is the first condition. Second condition is hold and wait. A process must be holding one resource and is waiting for to acquire additional resources, but those resources are currently held by other process, is called as hold and wait. Let me explain with this example. Consider here you have two processes P1 and P2 and you have two resources R1 and R2. So a process is holding the resource R1. So R1, the process is holding a resource R1, but it requires additional resources like R2. But this R2 is held by the process P2. So the process P2 hold this resource R2, but it is waiting for the resource R1. So this condition is called as hold and wait. So when there is no hold and wait in the system, then we can say that there is no deadlock in the system. This condition is called as hold and wait. Third condition is no preemption. That means resources cannot be preempted. Okay, so consider this case itself. So in this case, process P1 is holding resource R1 and it is waiting for the resource R2. Process P2 holds resource R2 and is waiting for the resource R1. So here, if any higher priority process needs the resources, then the process will not release that resource. That it will release the resource only after completion. This condition is called no preemption. Because of no preemption in the system, deadlock may occur. So if you want to avoid deadlock, then there should not be no preemption condition in the system. This is called as no preemption condition. So the last condition is circular wait. So circular wait is, let's see the same example. So in this example, if you see the process P1 is holding resource R1 and is waiting for the resource R2. And for the process P2 is allocated resource R2 and it is waiting for R1. So this is in circular condition or it occurs in a cyclic manner. So this condition is also called as circular wait. So we have seen four necessary conditions to occur deadlock. One is mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, circular wait. If all these four conditions occur simultaneously, then we can say that there is a deadlock in the system. Okay. Next, we will see what is a resource allocation graph. So, deadlock can be described clearly in terms of a directed graph called resource allocation graph. This graph is a very simple graph with two things. One is set of vertices which is represented by V and set of edges which is represented by E. So in this graph, each process will be represented by a circle and each resource will be represented by a rectangle. Suppose there are 6 instances of a resource type. For example, if you have a printer, that means 6 printers are attached to the system. Then we draw this printer with a rectangle which consists of 6 dots. So it is called as resource type. And the edges, there are two types of edges can occur. One is request edge, other one is assignment edge. Request edge means process 1 is waiting for the resource R1. That means it is requesting the resource R1. Then you should draw an edge from the process to the resource R1. And there is one more edge called assignment edge. Assignment edge is if a resource R1 is allocated to a process P1, then you should draw a edge from the resource 1 to P1. So in this diagram, here process R1 is allocated to P1. So we are drawing an assignment edge from resource 1 to process P1. And this process P1 is requesting the resource R2. So we are drawing a request edge from process P1 to R2. So this is how you have to draw the resource allocation graph. Now we will see one simple example of resource allocation graph. So in this, we have set of 3 processes, so P1, P2, P3, and we have the resource type, 4 resource type, R1, R2, R3 and R4, so which is represented by in this diagram. And we have an edges. I'll draw this edges. Before that, we will see how many instances are there in each resource type. For example, resource 1 is having 1 instance type. That means there is only 1 dot. So 1 instance of resource R1. Coming to R2, you have 2 instances. 2 instances of resource R2. Coming to R3, we have 1 instance. So 1 instance of resource R3. And resource R4, we have 4 instances. So it is 3 instances of resource type R4. So now we will write the edges. So when we write the edges, so edges over here, P1 is requesting for R1. So P1 is requesting for R1 and P2 is requesting for R3. P2 is requesting for R3 and R1 is allocated to P2 and R2 is allocated to P2 and R2 is allocated to P1 and R3 is allocated to P3. So how you have written this edges? See here, come into this diagram. So process P1 is requesting for R1. So we are drawing this edge. Next is P2 tends to R3. So P2 is requesting for R3. And then allocated edge we will see, assignment edge. So R1 is allocated to P2 and R2, 1 is allocated to P1. Another instance is allocated to P2. Okay, R1 is allocated to P2. R2 is allocated to P2 and R2 is allocated to P1 and lastly R3 is allocated to P3. This is how you have to draw the edges. Okay. So in this cycle, in this diagram, we need to check whether any cycle exists or not. So first we will see for P3. P3 doesn't require any resources. So P3 is currently using the resource R3. So it will uses this R3 and releases this resource R3. But now P2, after this P3 releases this resource R3, P2 will make use of this resource and it will finish its execution and releases this R3 also. Now it is holding this R1 also, it also releases this R1. Once this resource R1 is released, P1 will make use of the resource R1 and it finishes its execution. So there is no cycle exist in this resource allocation graph. If there is no cycle, then we can say that there is no deadlock can occur in this system. Okay, now let's see one more example where we are going to draw a line from here to here. That means P3 is request one resource from this resource R2. Then here there exists a deadlock. There will be two deadlocks can occur. One is P1, that is two cycles can occur. P1 to R1, R1 to P2. So P1 to R1, R1 to P2, then P2 to R3, then P3 to R3. Okay, R3 to P3, sorry, this is P3, then P3 to R2 and R2 to P1. So this is one cycle. The second cycle is a small cycle where P2, R3, P2 to R3, then R3 to P3, R3 to P3, then from here to R2, then again to P2. So there exist two cycle. So if there are cycle exist in the system in the graph, then we can say that there can occur a deadlock. Okay. Now we will see one more example where this is another resource allocation graph where we have four process P1, P2, P3 and P4, and we have two resource type R1 and R2. In R1 we have two instances, in R2 we have two instances. So P1 is requesting for resource R1, but R1 is allocated to P2 and also P3, and P3 is requesting for R2, but R2 is allocated to P1 and it is allocated to P4. So in this system, when we see here, we have a cycle. If you see this, you have to check whether you have a cycle. So there is a cycle exists between P1 to R1, R1 to P1 to R1, R1 to P3, then P3 to R2, and from there it is going to P1. So there exists a cycle. But here there is, however, there is no deadlock, because even though if it is having a cycle, but deadlock cannot occur in this system, because if you consider this P4 is not requiring any resource. So it is holding the resource R2. So first P4 will make use of this resource and it will finish its execution and release this resource. Once this R2 is released, this resource will be used by P3. So P3 will use this resource and it will also release, and it will also release this resource R1 also. So now this resource R1 will be used by P1. So there is no deadlock. So even though if you have cycle, they may or may not deadlock can occur. So this is also some situation where a deadlock may or may not occur even though if you have a cycle. Okay, so in this video we have learnt what is a deadlock, and we learned what is we know what is a deadlock and what all the conditions to make a deadlock to occur, and we have seen some deadlock characterization. There are 4 necessary conditions to make a deadlock to occur, and if all these conditions occur simultaneously, then we can say deadlock can occur. And we have seen resource allocation graph. So in this video we have also seen how to draw a resource allocation graph, and the edges, how to draw the edges, and how to check whether you have a deadlock or not with the help of these edges. Thank you all for watching.